life in Vegas? Consider life in Vegas. So is there a life in Vegas? Chill out and get a life. Watch and learn. Only on VegaslifeTV. Made in Vegas. For all things Vegas. Now you can leave home without leaving home.
Welcome to Wines du Jour. We're here in Las Vegas, Nevada, where we are almost every week with our show, but more specifically, we're in the northwest section in Tivoli. It's a new shopping mall out here in the northwest part, and we're at one of our favorite Mexican restaurants, a beautiful restaurant that I want to tell you a little bit about in a couple moments. You know, if you go to Mexico and taste Mexican food, it's a lot different than the typical mother and father or a family operation in America. The Mexican food in America doesn't really taste a lot like it does in Mexico. But Cantina Laredo, which is where we are today, they do beautiful work, and everything's authentic, made from scratch, and it's very, very tasty. The people here are very friendly, and I think it's a place for you to search, if you will, to come here. There are other stores around the country, and a little bit later in the program when we talk with Mark Watson, we'll find out exactly where some of them are. The wine today is a special wine. First of all, it's not been on Wines du Jour before, and it's called One Hope wine. Today we're going to feature their Chardonnay, their Pinot Noir, and their Cabernet Sauvignon. And the unique part about One Hope is each one of the varietals has a connection to a charity. As an example, Chardonnay might have a connection to Cancer Society. And a percentage of every sale of every bottle goes to that particular charity. So we'll find out more about it. The man that put all this together in 2007 is going to be our guest today. So you'll get a good idea of what One Hope is all about. And check out your local retail store to see where you can get it, or you can always go to onehopewines.com and order it online. I got to go introduce you to Mark Watson, who is the manager here at Cantina Laredo. So don't go anywhere. I'll be back in just a few minutes. Welcome back. Before I left out front, I told you I wanted to introduce you to the gentleman that's responsible for making this new restaurant not only new but comfortable for everybody that comes to Tivoli, and the food here is outstanding. Mark Watson. Mark, thank you very much for your hospitality and allowing us to come over and share some food and your restaurant with us here on TV and on radio.
Well, once again, thanks for stopping by. We always like having you guys here.
Yeah. Listen, tell me a little bit about yourself. You've been in the business for quite a while, and you've done a few things, but you've been with this particular company for a while, and man, have they gone gangbusters.
Yeah, they're doing quite well for me. Actually, the World Cup is my 4-year anniversary with them, so I always remember.
Okay.
I always remember that. But it's definitely a great company to work for. We have a lot of stuff going for us. We're definitely opening lots of different locations. This is actually my 5th location with the company, so they move me around, and I get the job done for them, so they keep helping me out as well.
Well, not only do they move them around, they're about to move them again. How long have you been at this store?
I've been here just under 2 years.
Just about 2 years. Well, that's a long time. It's enough to get friends in the neighborhood and so on, and then leave.
It's
get
true.
to start all over again.
It's true.
But it's also exciting, isn't it?
It definitely is. I've been here quite a while. I normally am only in a place like 8 months to a year.
Oh, really?
As it is, but I like Vegas, so I give it a little bit more of a chance.
Well, Cantina Laredo is a growing corporation, and they're opening 2 stores in Philadelphia area?
Yeah, the Philly's a few months out, but we have definitely probably like 5 stores in this year that are opening as well. So.
Oh, is that right?
We're looking at LAX, in Birmingham, another one in Springfield, Missouri, the 2 in Philadelphia.
So Mark's going back to Philadelphia to see what those cheese sandwiches are all about back there. But more importantly, to introduce the people in Philadelphia. And if you're in Philadelphia watching this at the moment, make sure you check out Cantina Laredo. It's a new restaurant in that particular area, and find out what true Mexican food is all about. We've been doing this show for a number of years, and we go down to Mexico a couple times a year and do a show, one from Ensenada at Hotel Coral, and one from Rosarito Beach, from the Rosarito Beach Hotel. And I tell you, the food across the border is different than it is in America. However, when you come to Cantina Laredo, you don't have to travel so far to get the good taste of Mexican cuisine, because Mexican food is very, very good. It's a lot healthier than people think it is. Let me give you an example. The typical restaurant in America that says they're a Mexican restaurant and you go in and order a typical taco, that taco shell is fried. What that means is it's American style. Mexicans do not deep fry their taco shells. Maybe somebody does at home, but in general they don't. So that's one way to tell authentic. When you come here, well, they don't know about frying them because they've never done that before. They make it taste the way it's supposed to. Well, we've got to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about a wine that we have not had on the show, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, called One Hope Winery. We've got the owner of One Hope is going to be a guest on our radio show, but he wasn't able to get here early enough to be on the TV show. And he's going to tell us on the radio show a little bit about what they do. Let me tell you what it is overall. They have about 12 different flavors of wine. Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, Cabernet, etc., etc. And each one of those wines is connected with a charitable organization. As an example, their Chardonnay, which is the first wine we're going to taste here in just a few moments, is connected with breast cancer. So all the percentage of the funds, I think it's around 20-25% of the funds for every bottle of Chardonnay is sold goes to breast cancer. I think that's pretty cool. We'll find a little bit more about that. We're going to taste some wonderful food that the Chef Damon has put together here, and we'll be back right after these messages.
Switch to DirecTV and find out how to say goodbye to messy cable wires and boxes. America's #1 satellite television provider is the undisputed leader in sports with the most full-time HD channels anywhere. Get DirecTV today and receive a free Genie upgrade. One HD DVR powers your whole home. There's no equipment to buy and no startup costs. Package offers start at just $24.99. There's never been a better time to upgrade your television experience. Call your authorized DirecTV dealer today.
Welcome back. We're going to talk about our first wine from One Hope Wines in California. And it happens to be the most popular white wine in the whole world, Chardonnay. Chardonnay is not my favorite wine when it comes to pairing it with food, but it is a nice wine to drink. Sitting around the pool, fireplace, that type of thing, it's fine. But to pair with food, I happen to like Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc a little better than Chardonnay, and that's okay. But the chef has made me convert, because the chef here has decided that with the Chardonnay here at One Hope Wines, he's going to put together a nice fish dish, sea bass, along with a little bit of artichoke and some other things. Mark, tell us a little bit about this dish, because it not only smells good, it looks great.
Well, it's a small portion of what we do serve here in the restaurant. It's a pan-seared Chilean sea bass. It's going to have a jalapeno blanc over top. It's a buttery white wine reduction. Once again, using Chardonnay in the recipe. Reduce the butter. I think we talked about this in the past as well. You definitely reduce the butter. Yeah. And then a roasted artichoke to go complement with that as well. The sweet, the sour, the artichoke. It's going to go really well with the Chardonnay.
Okay. That sounds good. And this is on the menu here.
Yes, sir.
All right, that's good. Let's try a little bit of the Chardonnay and see what you think. Now, the unusual part about Chardonnay is that it's very popular. Consequently, the prices, because of demand, in some cases have kind of risen, if you know what I'm saying. Although some of the Chardonnays that are trying to make a name for themselves on the market, their prices are a little bit low. Well, One Hope doesn't worry about that sort of thing. They figured the cost and the markup, how much they're going to give the charities that are involved for every bottle that's sold, and they marked it to $18.99 a bottle. That happens to be a killer price for a good bottle of Chardonnay. Let's try this and see what you think, Mark. I smell honeysuckle in this Chardonnay, which is kind of cool. This is, I think, pretty tasty. Bright, nice acidity. The tannin is not heavy at all. It drinks really well, and I know for sure it's going to go really, really well with that sea bass. Now, sea bass is kind of a controversial fish in the ocean nowadays. Chilean sea bass in particular is Patagonia is really what it is. And Patagonia, you can look it up, it'd be kind of fun to read about it because it's completely different than what you think, but it's tasty as heck.
Yes, definitely.
And it's very, very popular. So, you know, several years ago, there were other fish like that. Remember a redfish from the Gulf of Mexico? Paul Perdome, a personal friend of ours, brought over a new concept into the Louisiana area where he would take a cast iron skillet, heat it up until it was not red hot, but past red hot to white hot, and take a piece of fish and put it right in the skillet. It was so hot that the fish did not literally touch the skillet. It actually hovered above it because of the heat. And he called it blackened redfish. It became so popular that the government in Louisiana passed a law that says you were not allowed to take the fish out of the state. The restaurants were allowed to serve it because it was they were going to become extinct if they weren't careful. So that's what happened. That's all kind of gone away by the wayside. It's gone along, it's been 12, 15 years, I guess, since that happened. But there are a number of fish that have that sort of thing has happened. And I have to tell you, the Chilean sea bass is one of them where a lot of restaurants now are holding back on carrying it just to make sure that we don't run out. Well, the fishermen are going to make sure that doesn't happen. That's the way they make their living, right?
Supply and demand.
So I think it's pretty good. What do you think of the wine?
I like it. It's crisp. I'm not a big Chardonnay fan either, but I definitely could drink it, especially this time of year here in Vegas.
Exactly. I think that's a good thing. This would go well with a lot of different cheeses as well. Now, we could call them soft or medium, but not necessarily hard cheeses. Hard cheeses are left almost exclusively for red wines. It's only because of the taste, and it's the amount of the acidity in the wine, where white wine doesn't have as much as the red wine, and the hard cheese has a different taste after it's been aged for a period of time and became hard, is something that requires that to make it really tear very, very well. So here we are with Chilean sea bass, One Hope Chardonnay, $18.99. This is on the menu. Mark Watson, I hate to say it, he's going to be leaving and moving back to Pennsylvania. We'll talk a little bit more about that a little bit later, but we got to go to a break. When we come back, we'll talk about wine number 2, which is one of our favorites, Pinot Noir. We'll talk a little bit about Pinot Noir, what it is and how it works, and we'll be back right after these messages.
Life in Vegas? Consider life in Vegas. So is there a life in Vegas? Chill out and get a life. Watch and learn. Only on Vegas Live TV. Made in Vegas. For all things Vegas. leave home without leaving home.
Switch to DirecTV and find out how to say goodbye to messy cable wires and boxes. America's #1 satellite television provider is the undisputed leader in sports with the most full-time HD channels anywhere. Get DirecTV today and receive a free Genie upgrade. One HD DVR powers your whole home. There's no equipment to buy and no startup costs. Package offers start at just $24.99. There's never been a better time to upgrade your television experience. Call your authorized DirecTV dealer today.
Welcome back. We're going to talk about wine number 2 from One Hope Wines. That's a California winery. You know, I mentioned a little bit earlier about how the money goes depending on whether it's a Chardonnay or Pinot or Cabernet or whatever varietal goes for a specific charitable organization. Well, listen to this. They came up with something we didn't realize until we just went to this break. It's Pinot for Paws. Is that what it's called? Pinot for Paws. That means Pinot Noir goes to fund pet adoptions. You know, there's a real crisis in America where they're killing more animals at pet shelters than they are with cars. I mean, it's really outrageous. Here in Las Vegas, we have a place, and I'm sure other towns have them as well. One of the places, the NSPCA, is at what we call a no-kill facility. And that just means they bring them in and they keep them until they get adopted. I have to say some of them have been there for a while, and others come in and out real quick. It just depends. But what happens is the demand for food and blankets and water and room, it just continues to grow like you can't believe. Well, here's what happens with the One Hope wines. I mentioned earlier 20 or 25, but here's the way it works. They take 100% of the profit, divide it in half, and whatever the profits for that particular wine is, half of it goes to the charitable organization, the other one goes to run the winery. I have to tell you, that's a pretty good thing.
Pretty hefty.
Very hefty, right. Well, the good part is, Pinot Noir is one of our favorite wines. I've mentioned this several times. I'm going to do a real quick 30-second overview of Pinot. It's the most difficult grape in the world to grow and make good wine out of. However, if the terroir, or the soil and the weather and so on in the particular area where they planted these vines, if it's something that Pinot Noir likes, you can get some wonderful wine. Well, we'll find out a little bit about where these grapes are grown in California to make this Pinot, because it's pretty hefty. Very nice. $18.99 a bottle retail. You can find it in your local market, or you can go online to onehopewines.com. Or better yet, if you like Mexican food, and I hope you do, because good Mexican food is hard to find, but when you find it, it's worth the effort. Just remember, Cantina Laredo. That's all you have to know. Look in the phone book, call 411, find out where there's one near you, and go there and find out what real Mexican food is all about. I've had people that are from Mexico tell me this is the place they come to eat when mom doesn't fix it at home, because it's just like home cooked. That's pretty good, man. That's a compliment that you would earn. You bet. Now, Pinot for Paws is an important thing. Let's try a little bit of it. While I'm pouring it, tell us a little bit about what Chef Damon has put together for us to taste with this Pinot Noir.
Well, this is a beef flatbread with wild mushrooms and onions. Basically, it's going to be your flatbread base, goat cheese on there, the inside skirt steak, which is a nice tender cut of the skirt steak.
Ooh.
On top of that, the sauteed wild mushrooms and onions. A little, what we call drunken cranberries, which are saturated a little bit of the Pinot Noir as well.
Okay.
And then sprinkle over top with, of course, the green pencil onions.
Wow. It looks great, and I have to tell you, well, you know, one of the hot items on today's market in restaurants is flatbread. You know, they put flatbread and put something on it, just about anything you can think of. This is a real good idea, and if you like skirt steak, and I hope you do, if you don't, try some. Go to the store, buy a piece of skirt steak, marinate it in a little bit of wine, a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of vinegar, and salt and pepper, some garlic, a little bit of hot peppers for about 2 hours. Take it off, kind of wipe it off, put a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, throw it on the grill for about 4 minutes on each side, take it off, get yourself some flatbread, and you're on your way. That along with a little One Hope wine. Very, very good. $18.99 a bottle, as I said, for One Hope. And is this on the menu here?
Yeah, a version of it.
A version of it is on the menu. Well, I have to tell you, Chef David does a beautiful job here. So, incidentally, if you come into the restaurant and you don't see what you want on the menu, ask your food server, or ask for Mark, or ask for Chef Damon. And if they can, they'll prepare it for you without a problem. And I have to tell you, for some people, if you have special requirements for dietary items, or you can't have salt or sugar or whatever the case may be, let them know they have no problem. One of the things about being a chef is we like to help people. So if you have a particular concern, we want to help you meet that concern. Correct?
We are happy to do it.
Absolutely. Okay, we got to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to taste wine number 3, which is Cabernet Sauvignon. And as you probably know, Cabernet Sauvignon is the most popular red wine consumed in the whole world. We'll talk a little bit about that when we come back. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back on Wines du Jour right after these messages.
Life in Vegas? Consider life in Vegas. So is there a life in Vegas? Chill out and get a life. Watch and learn. Only on VegaslifeTV. Made in Vegas. For all things Vegas. Without leaving home.
Welcome back. We're talking about One Hope Wines, and we're talking about Cantina Laredo in Las Vegas, Nevada. And I have to tell you, what a combination. It turns out that the two are pairing very, very well together. That Pinot Noir went very, very well. But this, we've got the Cabernet Sauvignon now. This is also known as Burgundy. If you are into French wines at all and you want Burgundy, you say, well, what kind of a grape is Burgundy? Well, it isn't a grape. It's a region in France, and Cabernet Sauvignon grows in that region, so they instead of calling it Cabernet Sauvignon like everybody else in the world, they call it the regional area, which is Burgundy. Pretty simple, but you have to understand that, or otherwise you'll get confused. I'll give you an example. Way back in the 1970s, when wine was starting to become something more and more people in America were drinking, you were buying it always in a jug, a 1-gallon jug. And then the label sometimes said something simple like Chablis. Now, there is no grape called Chablis. Chablis is an area in France. And white wine is mostly what they grow there. We won't talk about whether it's a Sauvignon Blanc or Chardonnay or what, but the company that produced the wines in America weren't violating any law by calling it Chablis, and everybody thought, man, they're drinking really nice French wine, Chablis. Well, by the jug, about $4.99, I think, at the time, for a gallon of wine, it was like a lot different than today. Thank goodness things have progressed over the years. But with the Cabernet Sauvignon, it happens to be the most popular wine, as I mentioned, to drink, but it's also the most popular wine in France. They were the first ones to have it, so we kind of give the acclaim of Cabernet Sauvignon to France. And the reason I'm saying that is, just as an example, Syrah, or they call it Shiraz in Australia, has been the one that they give credit to for Australia. There's more Syrah or Shiraz grown in Australia than any other red wine, and it's the most popular wine. In America, here we go, Zinfandel. Now, most people think Zinfandel came from Italy. Well, it probably did, but it didn't start out in Italy. It started out in Croatia, which is a little country right next to Italy. Went into Italy, come over to the United States, and we started planting it, and it grows very heartily. And way back in the early 1900s, Zinfandel was almost the only varietal that you could buy at that particular time. But things progressed over the years. So we're given credit in the United States as having Zinfandel as a number one. But Pinot Noir is still very popular. Let's taste that and tell us a little bit about what Chef Damon has put together for us to taste with this cab.
Well, one of my favorite steaks, the ribeye. It's just going to be a grilled ribeye. And then after it's grilled to the desired temperature, we're going to baste it with a Coscabel sauce, which is a little peppery sauce. There's a spice on there. And to cool your palate, on the base of that, we have a poblano mash, the poblano pepper blended into the red skin on mashed potatoes, really buttery. And on top of the micro cilantro, which is really, really popular nowadays.
Very good. That looks delicious. And I have to tell you, well, it can't be too bad. First of all, the chef knows what he's doing, and with all the things that he's put onto this, it's going to take something that tastes pretty good, taste even better. And on top of one of the most popular side dishes in America, mashed potatoes.
Steak potatoes type of guy. So.
There you go. No doubt about it. Let's taste this and see what happens. Wow. This has got that vanilla taste to it. It has a little bit of leather. I know that sounds weird. People say, leather? How could you get leather in grapes? Well, it's not that it's in the grapes. It's just the assumption that your nose gets or your taste buds get. Also, tobacco. Now, what about tobacco? Well, vanilla and tobacco both come from actually the oak barrel that the wine was aged in. Tobacco is not part of the grape in any way, shape, or form, nor is anything else from that matter as far as vanilla goes. But in order to get those flavors introduced, you put the wine in the oak barrels and let them age for a period of time, and it just kind of happens to permeate the oak, and it comes out into the oak barrel. It tastes pretty good. What a great concept, really good wines. Check it out. Local retail store, go online to onehopewines.com. More importantly, when you want something to eat, and we all eat every day, come on over here to Cantina Laredo, whether it's in Las Vegas or one of the other stores around the country. Or if you live back in Philly, just wait for a month or so and go to the local Cantina Laredo and meet Mark Watson. We've got to go. Mark, have a good time. I wish you all the luck in the world when you leave here.
Thanks, I'll miss you.
I'm going to try to get back there and say hi to you. It's toast to you and Cantina Laredo and Mark Watson. Till next time. Bye, everybody.
Switch to DirecTV and find out how to say goodbye to messy cable wires and boxes. America's #1 satellite television provider is the undisputed leader in sports with the most full-time HD channels anywhere. Get DirecTV today and receive a free Genie upgrade. One HD DVR powers your whole home. There's no equipment to buy and no startup costs. Package offers start at just $24.99. There's never been a better time to upgrade your television experience. Call your authorized DirecTV dealer today.